constructivist approach to learning is based on the theory that people construct their own understanding and knowledge of the world through their experiences and subsequent reflection. Because knowledge is personally constructed, there's the potential for variations in knowledge to occur. But constructivism wants to transform the student from a passive recipient of information to an active participant in the learning process. So as well as teaching the who, the what, the where, the when and the why around learning, the constructivist approach wants students to think about how the activity is helping them to gain understanding. So to teach in a constructivist manner, teachers need to be able to help students develop their skills in being an active participant in their learning, to manage themselves, and also to manage their external influences. It's through the idea of learning by doing that this is achieved. Another principle of constructivism is self-regulation. The better understanding a student has of the self, the stronger the student is encouraged to understand their own strengths and weaknesses when it comes to learning, and it allows an improved understanding of how they, as individuals, might better construct and monitor their own learning. For effective learning to occur, there needs to be some form of social interaction. So as learners make meaning from experience, the broader the base of experience that a learner has to draw upon, the stronger the meaning will be for the student. Now there are some ICT tools that help to promote critical and higher order thinking. We're going to go through 3 of these in this particular presentation, and how they meet the constructivist approach to teaching. Now, LinkedIn is a professional networking tool that for students of business and economics can provide an access to a professional community, to their ideas, their articles and their learnings from which they might never have been exposed to previous. It grants access to business leaders and organisations. This tool is supported by constructivist approaches to learning through collaboration and social interaction. So using LinkedIn and having access to the community of professionals taps into a group brain with the potential to uncover a broad range of new learnings with a similarly broad range of existing knowledge. So this exposure to new information for students in this kind of environment should encourage further development of their own skills and behaviours towards or in areas that to which they're passionate about. This tool is supported further by constructivist theory in the area of distributed cognition, where the individual can create a synthesis of ideas, learn the appropriate language and strengthen the learning bonds between new and existing knowledge. Furthermore, the use of social networking tools or through that, an improved understanding of the world can be established by the user having specific encounters with objects or people and adapting to that environment. So the use of peer learning also adds a bit of weight to the use of social networking tools to assist students to better improve their skills in learning. So this is through the higher amount of exposure to a range of different ideas, as well as being provided with feedback to the student. This tool supports and responds to the needs of diverse learners in a number of ways. So the broad range of professional people on LinkedIn encourages communities from all walks of life. If a student is passionate about the economic decisions of the WTO, then link to this organisation. If students are interested in the philanthropic ideas of Bill and Melinda Gates, then link to these people. If a student's drawn to the charismatic leadership of Sir Richard Branson, then link. There's the opportunity to develop a community of like-minded people, or a community that inspires a student to achieve beyond what they thought possible. So this tool can be implemented by students through LinkedIn registration, which can be developed for each individual student. There would need to be a consideration of the social networking safety requirements, as well as appreciating the consequences of making poor decisions on social networking sites. But also understanding the benefits of creating a strong network of individuals and using this network to improve knowledge, understand skills and behaviours, and realise student potential. Moodle is a learning management system that provides the resources to establish, develop, manage and assess student learning all through the one system. It disseminates information to students, it assesses learning, it interacts and communicates among all its participants, and there's the opportunity to collaborate and create together. So this tool is supported by the constructivist approach to learning, particularly through student self-regulation. So self-regulation is the driving constructionist theory on this particular tool. The learner can monitor their own learning through the completion and assessment of curriculum activities which have been established by the teacher. The interactivity and communication levels are higher, and there's a strong evidence to support this, as I was fortunate to have seen through the COVID-19 temporary shutdown of schools in Queensland. I was lucky enough to see how teachers were able to access their students while they were not in the classroom, and the use of Moodle during this time provided information to the student and the teacher and parents of what work the student was completing, how they understood the learning, and where there was work needed to bring the students up to the levels required to move on to the next piece of learning. So Moodle responds and supports the needs of diverse learners through the progress of learners being tracked through the completion of activities and assessment items, and it's quite transparent to share with the students, their parents and other teaching colleagues. The needs of diverse learners can also be addressed through tailored assessment items, through scaffolding learning through an increasing difficulty of items, with extension students capable to manage their own learning, while the teacher can address the needs of other students individually. Meeting the needs of diverse learners for Moodle can be a bit tricky, as some learners can tend to smash through the learning requirements, then they were left with nothing to do for the rest of the week, so care needs to be taken to roll out the learning as necessary. So even though there was the completion of work, some of the students were not at the level they needed to be at to move on, because there was no deeper understanding of the learning evident. But the teacher controls the details within Moodle, so the students are enrolled in this program and they can access information as input, updated and uploaded by the teacher. For computer games, this tool is supported by constructivist approaches to learning by emphasising authentic learning opportunities through simulations, the development of computer, formerly video games, in assisting students to develop their learning has most certainly improved over the last 30 years. I remember playing Where in the World Was Carmen Sandiego on a bit of a rudimentary computer to develop my skills in geography, history and problem solving. So games have come a long way since then, and there are examples of learning tools in two of the most recent editions of the Assassin's Creed franchise. So you had Origins, which was set in Ptolemaic Egypt, and Odyssey, which was set in Greece during the Peloponnesian War. So both through Origins and Odyssey, the student is a participant in the ancient world and is able to learn about the history, geography and daily life in this environment. Additionally, there is the capacity to be part of guided tours that are curated by historians based on research from credible sources such as universities and institutions like the British Museum. The use of gaming in this process encourages the use of non-real social interactions, that is the interactions of the student's avatar with the established avatars within the game. So the importance of experience-based learning and participation, emphasising an immersion in a situational learning context. But further studies in gaming for learning identified that these tools work best when aligned with other pedagogies. So the use of gaming does need to be specific and part of a larger framework of learning for the student. Now, gaming does support and respond to the needs of diverse learners by enabling learners to manage at their own pace, to learn when they're ready to learn, and encourage discovery through other avenues within the game. These tools can be implemented as part of a standalone portion of the game designed specifically for schools and rolled out to the students to, in this example, assist with better understanding the historical locations, traditions and customs of these ancient times that would only ever be available through other forms of more traditional text. So in conclusion, these three ICT tools, they're very relevant and very engaging to current strategies to learning, which should effectively be used as learning resources in the classroom. They do synthesise with constructivist approaches to learning in that they align with the three principles of constructivism, which is learning by doing, self-regulation and social interaction. They also do offer opportunities to respond to the needs of diverse learners through developing communities, whether they be like-minded or inspirational, through opportunities for self-regulation and managing your own workload and your own learning ability with support, and managing social interactions through structured opportunities for learning.